Philippine News Hub updates. Kung bago ka pa lang sa channel ko, huwag kalimutang mag-subscribe at i-hit ang bell for more updates. Breaking news June 24. Pangulong Duterte tinabla si Governor Gwen Garcia sa pagpapatupad ng ordinansa sa Cebu City. At ayon pa kay Governor Gwen Garcia na may karapatang magpatupad ng isang batas ang isang elected official at nakabatay ito sa Local Government Code at sa saligang batas. At ayon sa gobernadora na walang karapatan ang Iatf na ipagwalang bisa ang kanyang ordinansang pinapatupad sa Cebu City. Panoorin ang buong detalye.
Tinabla ni Pangulong Duterte ang pagsasantabi ni Cebu Governor Gwen Garcia sa health protocols na ipinatutupad ng Interagency Task Force. Nanindigan naman ang gobernadora na may karapatan ng elected officials na magpatupad ng batas o ordinansa sa kanilang nasasakupan. Nakasaadaan niya ito sa Local Government Code at maging sa saligang batas. Kaya wala umanong karapatan ng Iatf na ipawalang bisa ang pagpapatupad ng Cebu ng swab upon arrival sa mga OFW, maliban kung ideklara raw itong null and void ng korte. Banta pa ni Garcia, pakakasuhan ng illegal detention ang mga magpipilit na pigilan sa mga hotel ang mga dumaan na sa mandated quarantine period ng provincial government.
I, as Chief Executive of the Province of Cebu, am tasked to implement the provincial ordinance, which spells out the protocols for arriving ROFs and OFWs. Otherwise, I may be charged with dereliction of duty.
Hindi lahat ng kaso ay sakop ng mga korte, lalo't nasa gitna tayo ng national emergency. Kaya ang dapat anyang masunod ay ang ipinatutupad ng Iatf. Nagbabala rin ang Pangulo na hindi susunod ang anumang desisyon ng korte na may kaugnayan sa health protocols. Dalawang abogado kasi ang nagsampa ng kaso sa korte sa Cebu para ideklarang hindi epektibo sa Cebu ang policy ng national government sa incoming travelers. Ipinapaubaya na rin ng Pangulo sa DILG ang anumang magiging aksyon kay Garcia sakaling patuloy itong magmamatigas.
Not all cases can really be the subject of an injunction or a TRO for that matter. I'm sorry but hindi lahat na bagay that the courts will interfere. It is not a question of justice and equity. This is a question of survival of the nation. And I will not allow any court for that matter. I'm putting notice on hindi ako susunod.
I am here now to respond to your many questions, and in response, allow me to merely make a statement. For the past several weeks, the nation has been witness to a clash of opinions as well as protocols between the Iatf swab on the 7th day, 10-day hotel stay, and 4-day quarantine at home protocol, and the Cebu protocol, which takes the swab on the day of arrival or swab upon arrival with a negative result in 2 or 3 days. The ROF or OFW is allowed to go home to continue his quarantine period, his 14-day quarantine period in his own home. And on the 7th day, in compliance with the Iatf guidelines, another swab is taken. These protocols embodied in EO 17 were later adopted by virtue of a provincial ordinance 2021-04. And as far as the province of Cebu is concerned, this provincial ordinance was the effective law of the province. Many opinions have been cast. The Iatf had insisted on the implementation of its own guidelines, where the only basic difference, of course, is the 10-day hotel stay vis-a-vis or in comparison to the 2 to 3 day stay of the ROF or OFW in the hotel. Because all the rest we are in agreement. There also still is a 7th-day swab, and the entire 14-day quarantine is completed, whether it be in the 10-day hotel stay and 4-day stay at home, or in accordance with the Cebu Protocol, a 2 to 3 day hotel stay and then spending the rest of the 14-day quarantine at home. Now, as we understand, last night, the President himself has stated that Cebu must follow the IATF guideline, which is national policy and which supersedes local law. In deference to the President, I am announcing right now that the executive order that I issued, EO 23, yesterday, reminding all heads of government agencies that the provincial ordinance was in effect, and reminding all of the possible criminal and administrative charges that may be filed upon violation of such ordinance. This executive order I am now setting aside in deference to the President, even as we look forward to the scheduled meeting on the 28th of June with Secretary Duque and the same technical experts who had advised the President last night as regards the need to strictly implement the IATF guidelines. Allow me to thank President Rodrigo Roa Duterte for recognizing the wisdom of my plea that we give human consideration to the OFWs and ROFs who come home mostly not for leisure, but for the greater majority of them, they come home for family emergencies. An additional 10-day stay at the hotel burdens our ROFs. And for this, allow me to thank again the President for announcing last night that the ROFs, aside from the OFWs, will not need to pay the hotels, since this will be answered for by the national government. This certainly lessens the financial burden of our ROFs. Insofar as the emotional and psychological burden of having to stay for 10 days in the hotel, may I plead to our OFWs and ROFs that the Cebu provincial government will continue to keep an open mind, listen to these technical experts, even as we hope that Secretary Duque and these technical experts will also keep an open mind once they come to Cebu, observe what is happening in Cebu, and listen as well, as we will closely listen to them, to listen as well to the data, the science, the experience, and actual ground reality that we shall present. In so doing, even as I set aside EO 23, we shall continue with the swab upon arrival policy, because we have found that doing this gives us better control at those that arrive already testing positive. This shall continue at no cost to the arriving OFWs and ROFs, even as, of course, the 7th-day swab will again be ministered to these arriving Filipinos on the 7th day. So, I hope that this settles all questions that have been spinning around for the past many hours of today. We shall await, hopefully, a win-win solution after this meeting between the provincial board and the Secretary Duque and these technical advisors. For this is what, after all, we seek to find: common ground in order to reach a solution that considers all factors. Of course, safety and health, as well as human considerations and financial cost. So that is all I have to say. Our ROFs and OFWs, may you continue to be our modern day heroes. Thank you, President Duterte, for trying to find a solution to the financial burden of a 10-day hotel stay for returning Filipinos. Mabuhay ang Sugbo, and may God bless the Philippines.
Philippine News Hub Updates. Kung bago ka pa lang sa channel ko, huwag kalimutang mag-subscribe at i-hit ang bell for more updates.